What is going on, guys? Welcome to a special Sunday evening edition of Paving the Way. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in today or whenever it is that you're deciding to listen to this. Nonetheless, I am happy to have you here. To be completely honest with you, this one is kind of an impromptu episode I wanted to put out. It has been just a wild, almost like a wild couple of months, I feel like. Just a lot of building, developing, growing, teaching, implementing, things like that. And so I'd stopped by the office here and I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and get this thing turned on and to get talking about letting the rubber meet the road. So we'll dive into this one, get going with it, hopefully provide you guys a little bit of value. Let's go. All right, guys, welcome back again. Thank you for tuning in today. Like I said, this is actually getting recorded on a Sunday afternoon and getting posted here on Sunday evening. So if you guys are listening, this is real time happening today. But if you don't catch it when it goes out this evening, well, I hope you're enjoying it whenever you're listening to it. But nonetheless, guys, what I just want to talk about kind of briefly today, like I mentioned when we started out, came by the office just to drop a couple of things off, make sure things are kind of ready to go for the week, whatever it might be. And, I just got to thinking, I'm like, man, like this is really a year. 2024 is going to be a year for us where the rubber has to meet the road. No pun intended, right? Being that we do asphalt maintenance, pavement, things like that, rubber meeting the road, ha ha, funny. But really what it is, guys, like 2024, well, once we hit August of this year, it'll officially be 8 years that I've owned this company. And it's been 8 years of just trying to figure it out. Right. And the figuring it out part will never stop. But the 8 years that we've had put into this so far is something that we've put just a ton of time and effort, thought, strategy, successes and failures and everything in between. All of it's gone into it. And there's just this feeling that I've got, and the rest of the team actually kind of shares in this feeling. But there's this feeling going around the company that like this is going to be a year that's going to put everything to the test. This is going to be the year that all of the systems, the processes, the strategies and ideas that we've really been working to continuously mold, it's going to see like, is it going to work or does it still need like a lot more refining? And we're fortunate that we have a team full of individuals that are dedicated to making sure that all of the systems and processes we have are as refined as possible. Again, like I said, the growing never stops. The refining never stops. It's never going to be complete. But we're seeing opportunities coming to us that it's like, man, like this is going to put it to the test, right? These are going to be projects or opportunities that we're going to try and tackle as a team that maybe we haven't done to this scale before, that we haven't worked on this size of a project or this logistically complicated of a project or whatever it might be. And so we're really going to be putting that to the test. When it comes time to talk about the rubber meeting the road, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, a lot of leaders, even in companies, entrepreneurs, a lot of us really want to spend a lot of time thinking about, or talking about what needs to be done. We're great at coming up with ideas. We can come up with an idea for damn near anything. If you want an idea, ask an entrepreneur, ask a business owner, ask a leader, ask an entrepreneur, somebody who's in charge of getting things done. If you want an idea, talk to them because we're full of them. However, so people like myself, I'm more of the make it a kind of a methodical approach, so to speak, of implementing the ideas. I like to see some proof. I like to see some logic behind what we're trying to do. As I've gotten older and as I've gotten a little bit more secure, the company's gotten a little bit more secure, a stronger foundation, better base, things like that. I've started leaning more to the style of, okay, we've got a pretty solid plan. Let's go for it and see how this works out and kind of refine it as we go. So I think that to be, I guess strategically sound as a business owner, you want to have a little bit of a mix of both of that, right? You don't want the haphazardness over here of, hey, let's just jump off the building and build a parachute on the way down and hope we don't splat at the bottom, because that's just reckless. But you also can't sit there and analyze every little thing forever, because eventually a gust of wind's going to come across and just blow you off the building, whether you're ready or not. So there has to be that balance, right? So I think that as business owners and leaders, sometimes we get caught, stuck in one or the other. But nonetheless, the universe, the world, the business, the industry, or whatever it might be, is going to require you to have a time where the rubber has to meet the road. It just isn't negotiable. And so all the thoughts, all of the planning, all of the ideas, all the videos, the writing, everything like that that you've been putting together, perhaps over the last couple of months, because being about the beginning, middle of March, it's always, regardless of what industry you're in, that winter time, that after Christmas, beginning of the year time is a lot of times where companies are building. They're setting strategy, setting plans, refining processes, so on and so forth. And so now's the time where you're going to have to figure out is this planning, are these strategies, are these ideas that we've been talking about for however long, are they going to work? And sometimes, I hate to break it to you, they're not going to work. You're going to get into it and you're going to be going 100 miles an hour thinking everything's great, and it's going to explode in your face, and that's all right. Because I've been told before that if your systems and processes aren't breaking, you're not growing. And that's just part of the growth process. It's part of the growth cycle. And for someone like myself, who I may tend to, like I said, err more on the side of caution on some things, not everything, but some things, I may err more on the side of caution. That is a nerve-wracking feeling. That is something where you're like, man, like I've got 15 other mouths in this company that rely on me to not screw this up, for it to not crash and burn. But nonetheless, if I don't, then I would be effectively known as what we call the lid of the company, right? John Maxwell has been one who he talks about that a lot, the law of the lid, when it comes to leadership. And so we as the leaders, we as the business owners cannot be the lid of the company. We can't stop it and stunt it from growing and allowing people to build their dreams within our dreams of this company. But we also have a due diligence to make sure that what we are having happen, what we are putting into practice, has a solid foundation for people to launch off of, right? Because there's that happy medium, that says we don't necessarily, like I said, we don't have to have the parachute completely built to go. Part of entrepreneurship is jumping off the building with the plan to put it together and with the plan to make sure that we don't go splat at the bottom of it. And that's what the people that work at our companies, that's what they trust us to do. But they also trust us to allow them the opportunity to jump, to go for it, to see if what they've put in is going to work. Because nonetheless, regardless of what position somebody fills in a company, there's always that little bit of excitement someone wants to have. They want to know, like, man, I've been working really hard on this. Is it going to work? Or when's it going to be implemented? Or we've been collecting data on this for so long, or we've been running these numbers or these strategies or whatever it might be for so long. Like, when are we going to put this into play? Because if you have this group of people standing around at the top of the building ready to go, and you don't allow them to actually put what they've been working on into practice, they're just going to go ahead and go somewhere else. They're either going to jump off on their own and crash and burn. They're either going to jump off on their own and they're going to succeed and fly away to somebody else's company or start their own or whatever it might be. Or it's going to say, forget this, I'm taking the stairs down, I'm going to go somewhere else. So you have to find that balance. You have to, as the leader, you have to allow them the opportunity to jump. You have to give them that foundation to fly. And so when it comes time for, making sure that the rubber has to meet the road, you just want to make sure that what you've done, to prepare up to that point, you feel confident in. If you've ran the numbers, if you've had the ideas, if you've tested and tuned the processes and the strategies and ideas, then just go for it. Just absolutely just go for it. Take the jump, take the leap of faith, and make it happen. Because I see far too many people that get stuck on the methodical side, like too far, like far methodical of this has to make absolute perfect sense before we take one step forward. And I see that because I used to be that. Those that know me, those that have known me for a long time, I've enjoyed my businesses. I've enjoyed my risks. I've enjoyed, kind of taking the unconventional route of life, so to speak. But I've always had that methodical approach. I've always wanted to see the logic behind it before I make that move. And there has to be a level of responsibility that is obtained through that, right? You have to uphold that responsibility to make sure that it actually halfway makes sense before you just jump off. But as I'm getting older, as I'm getting more comfortable in the, just the environment of business and the unknowns that come with it, the more that it's just like, just take the jump. We're fortunate that, like I said, we have a team of people who are all in. They're building, they're growing, they're developing, and they're continuing to push the needle forward, both personally and professionally. And so what's the worst that happens? We all learn and we grow together. I'm all right with that. So my advice, my encouragement, my suggestion, whatever you want to take it as today, it's going to be that whatever you've been working on, in whatever realm that you operate in, whether it's an employee or an employer, starting a new business, thinking of a new business, or having one that's been running for 10, 15, 20 years. The idea is that you've been spending all that time, energy, and effort on trying to get nailed down to where they're going to be absolutely perfect. I hate to break it to you, that time will never come, right? You're going to find yourself in that paralysis by analysis of always thinking about it, always analyzing it, and never doing it. So I encourage you, start doing it. Take a leap, move forward, see what happens, and go from there. Because at the end of the day, guys, what's the worst? Like I said, what's the worst thing that happens? You learn from it. You fail forward. You learn something that didn't work, or you solidify something that does. So in my opinion, the only thing you have to gain is moving forward. The only thing you have to lose is maybe finding some ways that don't work. So that's just a little bit of my opinion on it. Like I said, just this weekend, I've been thinking about, a lot of the stuff that we have coming, a lot of the opportunities, the goals that we're trying to accomplish this year, the ways that we're trying to accomplish them, the people that we have on our team that are willing to put in this effort and the blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen. It's 2024 is shaping up to definitely be an interesting year. I think it's going to be a challenging year. There's going to be things that come up that maybe we aren't prepared for, but also I think we're going to be adequately prepared for most things that show up in our face. So, guys, I hope this was beneficial to someone out there who was listening to it this evening or whenever you got to hear it. But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever it is you may be doing, wherever it is you may be at, and whoever it is you're doing it with. I hope it's everything you want.